This is called our little panel discussion. And basically what this is about is us getting to know who you are, but also the next person sitting beside you get to know who you are. So I'm talking about we digging a little deep here for a little bit, taking the little makeup off, coming from behind the cover of your book. All right, I really want you guys to just be your authentic self. This is what we live by because we are beautiful women and we're just moving forward and letting God just lead us, okay? So I'm gonna give everybody one of these cards. I want you to hold these cards, but I don't want you to answer them or look at them at the moment because my first question today is on this panel is going to be, what inspired you to write the book that you wrote? What inspired you? What moved you? What made you say, you know what, I'm going to name this book this? Or I was challenged because I had this issue. Whatever it was, we're going to start with Rachel. And as Rachel, go ahead, I'm going to give you a call. Michelle. No, I just want you to hold that and answer the question.
So what inspired me to be a featured author in the top 25 change makers was really my journey during COVID, during 2020, 2019. I really made a major shift, a real transformation from sales to service, from the agent to the advocate. So I spent 20 years managing medical practices, so I've always been that patient advocate, but it was really not until the loss of my very dear sister after a lengthy battle with cancer and watching everything go wrong and how she lost her livelihood, her freedom in the time of crisis, did I really make a shift and did I really have an urgency and a message to want to help people avoid that by really being able to take control of their healthcare spending and avoiding bankruptcy. It's the number one reason for medical expenses are the number one reason for bankruptcy. So I just want a bigger stage, a bigger platform to share really my incomparable expertise after running medical offices for many years, helping them protect their health and their wealth.
Yeah. And what about you, Ms. Linda?
I'm also a contributing author in the top 25 change makers. And what inspired me to contribute this chapter was I was in an industry for almost 20 years, in the hospitality, meetings and conventions industry for almost 20 years. And I had tried to start a business back in 2012 and traveling around the country and, life got in the way. You named one excuse after the other and it didn't ever fly off the ground. Come March 13th, 2020 was my D-Day, my last day in the hospitality industry due to COVID. And that was the same day I picked up the phone and got my LLC, got my trademark patent pending, and hit the ground running. And that's why the title of my chapter is 30-Second Pity Party, because that's about all I had.
Wow. Thank you for sharing that. And tell us who you are.
My name is Jaquela Lynn. I'm the author of Before the Sun Rises, and it's son as in S-O-N because I have 3 sons under 10, and my friends will often ask me, like, how are you so productive? How are you so happy all the time? How are you getting stuff done? How you start a business? And I was giving away a lot of my information for free. And I figured I would put it all in a book and I would be able to help them and help me at the same time and take care of my family. And so I wrote the book helping people to learn how to get up before the sun rises.
Wow.
And in my case, how to get up before my 3 sons got up. And ultimately, just to help you learn how to find your purpose in life before the sun returns. So,
Tell us who you are and what moved you.
I don't know where to begin. My name is Maria Spinziano Singh, and I'm a medical doctor, and I'm a naturopathic medical doctor, kind of squished into one. And I wrote a couple books here. My first one is called Be Consciously Healthy, Awaken to Your Best Life. And it was not easy because I was running business. I'm running 2 businesses, a conventional medicine, and then opening up a more of a natural medicine or an integral type of medicine practice, actually a campus, a wellness center. And that was really the inspiration to write this. And thanks to Lisa and her now publishing company, we got together and they helped me put this together, and it's kind of semi-autobiographical about how I really began, and it started out like a long time ago, probably about 40 some odd years ago, but even before then. But anyhow, it really was about teaching the world, teaching people how to live consciously, which is really a lot more than you think. And it's really, looking deep. It's really a deep kind of concept, and it has, so many elements to it. It goes back thousands of years. And I reference the Buddha in this book. I reference Michio Kushi in this book, who is my guru, really, the macrobiotic guru of this country. And I talk about nutrition, I talk about breath, I talk about movement, selfless caretaking of oneself, and how to accept things like death with really with open arms. So there's a lot of life in this book, but there's the afterlife as well. But it is really it's a book I kind of I'm proud of, and it helped me in opening up my center so that other people knew that I was more than just a medical doctor. I had more than that to my repertoire, and so that was the beginning. And then I wrote another book called The Conscious Eat, and that is a recipe book. Actually, it's healthy cooking and lifetime recipes. That's my tagline, and I wrote that with a wonderful woman by the name of Diane Friedberg, and she's here with me tonight, and Diane and I put this together, and this is really a unique cookbook because it talks about cooking, not only cooking as an art, but eating and cooking and eating and breathing and using all the elements, fire, air, water, earth, in this discussion. And so it's pretty powerful. I consider it unique and one of my my triumphs in life. And then my third, which others have contributed to here, this 25 Changemakers. And this was about how I kept my wellness center open, the Welcome Home Integral Healing and Education Center. And through these times, these strange times of COVID, and we never closed. We stood there and we were healthy and strong, and we kept people healthy and strong in our wellness center. So that's in my chapter in the top 25 Changemakers, and that's pretty much where it's at.
Hi, I'm Frida, and I'm the author of 2 books. My first book I published in January of 2021. This book I wrote during COVID. It was an experience that me and my family went through, selling our old home of 5 years and buying another one. And during that process, we learned a lot of real estate terms and different things that the average person probably would not even understand, So what I did was I compiled it in this one book as a self-help book. If you're interested in buying real estate, you need to know what you're looking at when you're looking at those contracts, because they put stuff in there you may not even understand. And then my second book, published this May 25th, Beautiful Flowers, The Rise of a Queen. And I love the title of this, and what inspired me to write this book. I'm a mom of three grown children. My last baby, who's a girl, she is about to turn 18. And I asked her what she wanted to do in her life after high school, and she just graduated. And she said, well, I want to be in a veterinarian. So she did that, and she said to me, while I was getting ready for this event, she told me, she said, Mom, you don't wear enough yellow. You don't wear enough colors and stuff like that. And she kind of inspired me to get out of my black and reds that I, get, and wear a yellow dress. And I posted it on internet, and the reaction that I got, and a lot of my inspiration comes from my daughter. She made me and her might bump heads every once in a while, like all mothers and daughters do, but she has a lot of wisdom and she's like really smart. So this book, she inspired me to write this. And also a group that I'm a part of, a women empowerment group, 3 years, that this lady that runs it, she's just incredible with everything that she does for the community in New York. All the way in New York, she's feeding the homeless, she's clothing women in shelters, she's offering help to women in need. Anybody who needs help with anything, she's just right there. Even if she has to have her wagon, pulling it down, 15th Avenue, she'll do it. She's just an incredible woman. So I wanted to dedicate this book to her and my daughter. So this is.
So good for you for having that confidence to do that and stepping out and just say, I'm just going to do it.
Thank you.
Hi there, I'm Maria Malik, and I am all about igniting the inner healer, and a believer in life and death is in the power of the tongue, and how the spoken word can be used for sickness or wellness. And my book, Dare to Declare, is all about speaking life and starting your day from inspiration with the sound of your own voice. Sound is very healing, and we can speak our lives into existence. We can speak wellness into existence. We can speak our dreams into existence. Chaotic hearts, we can make peaceful. And I'm not ashamed to say that this is a great bathroom book. It's really a lot of beautiful pictures and greetings for the day. So if you set your day up with intention from spirit, then you're casting that into the atmosphere, and then you're affecting everyone in your home, and you're affecting people everywhere you go. So that's my story.
Thank you.
Well, good evening, everyone. I am Pamela McCoy, aka Pamela with 3 A's, and it's so befitting when that she's sitting next to me in the story of her book. I would define, I use my hashtag GISCC, and that stands for God is so crazy cool. Right? And the fact that she's talking about inspiration, my first book, Bonafide Bits for Inspiration and Intellect Collide with Your Finances, was kind of the same. It is a quick, easy read, about 79 pages. It has my 5 categories: educate, empower, evolve, enlighten, and enrich, right? And each one of them have 11 pithies, or inspirations. They could be a scripture, it could be a quote, it could be something that someone said profound. And then with that inspiration, it will give you a life application of the inspiration, and then it will give you a financial application of the inspiration, because finance is what I do. But it's just amazing when you're talking about starting your day with an inspiration. So this book, the impetus of getting it done when it got done is crazy. I was engaged to do a women's conference in Atlanta, the keynote, the presenter, and of course with that package comes a vendor table. And not a good look to be the speaker at a vendor table with nothing to sell. And I've been procrastinating about writing a book. And so I thought, oh my gosh, I've been posting inspirations for almost 20 years now. It started as what I call my organic ministry. A couple friends were going through some stuff, so I would text them. And then people would ask to get on the text. So right now, even today, I still have 34 people that I text. But every morning, you can check me out on my social media. You will find an inspiration at 5:55 a.m.
She gets up and looks sun.
The sun, the inspiration. The 5 is significant. You will see that everything about my businesses are 5. My first company is Bonafide, but it's spelled B-O-N-A, the number 5, D. My newest division of my company is B5, Reaffirm. right? So the motto for Bonafide is educate, empower, evolve, enlighten, and enrich. The seminars that I do with that end of the business is F5, Fueling Financial Fire for females, for families, or for fellas. The B5, I'm glad you asked, is a bona fide boss with brains, beauty, and a believer in me. But the 5 is significant because biblically speaking, 5 is the number of grace. And so that is the undercurrent in all that I do is His grace, His mercy, His support, His inspiration. So that was the first book. I do a lot of community outreach, and so someone actually wrote a book about me. So that's this one. And it's really about my perpetual volunteerism in the community. And like the other ladies, I am a contributing author to the 25 Change Makers. My chapter can be found on page 181, and it's called Bread is Bread is Bread. And it's really about when you decide to do something, whatever that dream is, and I like to say, don't just dream, I need you to dream big. Right? And whatever that big dream is, there might be someone else who's already doing similar or the same thing that you have the idea to do. But you can't let that stop you because no one can be you but you. Right? So your little secret sauce, your little unique thing that you're going to add to it is why you should do it in spite of others doing what you do. So in a word, if people ask me why do I do what I do and all the things that I do, my one word is always impact. And what I mean by that is whoever's path I'm blessed to cross, I need their life to be better in some way because of that intersection. So whether it's just a smile, a conversation, an in-depth conversation, my services, whatever it is, I need their life to be better. I want to give them tools that they can use, excuse me, to be the best version of themselves. And so in a nutshell, that's why B5, that's why Bonafide, that's why I do what I do.
Hi, so I'm Sabrina Protic, and I actually have 2 books. I'm in that book also, but I didn't bring it up because, well, you know why so many people are in this book? Because we survived the pandemic.
Amen.
We want to thank Now Publishing for coming up with that idea, Lisa Garcia. So I'm one of 25 authors that went through a challenging time last year, lost a job, started a business, somewhat like this lady, and many of you, I'm sure, have done the same thing. But one of the books that I did on my own is Growing Ageless, this book. And that's kind of a confusing title because what do you mean growing ageless? I mean, that book means you're never too old. You're never too old to start over. You're never too old to start a business. I don't believe in counting the clock. And so this book is about my restart in life. So ladies, this is what I went through. Here I am, married, children, now divorced. Who wants to be divorced with 2 children? Because who wants you? That's what you're made to think. Who's gonna want you? You know, they call it what used, has been. So look, check the box divorce, check the box kids, no. And so I kind of felt that way. I felt like, okay, my life is over. You know, because who wants the has been? And so you actually, sometimes you start living your life that way. You start looking that way. You start thinking that way, that nobody's gonna want you because you're done. They call it a ready-made. Anybody heard of that?
Yeah.
A ready-made? Who wants a, oh, you're young. They call it a ready-made family. Oh, and I had the dog too, so 2 kids and a dog. And I'm like, who wants to step into that? So I lived my life as if nobody wanted me, and nobody certainly wanted my kids, and they didn't want to step into that responsibility. And so I kind of walked for years with my head down. I wore all black. I was hiding. The boxier the outfit was, the better I felt because I was hiding in it. I had no self-esteem, 0. And I'm sorry, ladies, but I looked at all these beautiful young women and I envied them because I said, look at how gorgeous they are. And I can't compete with that. But ladies, we don't have to compete with it, do we? We don't have to compete with that. I'm like, I have a lot going on here. So I had to rediscover myself, become relevant because I felt totally irrelevant. Like, who's going to want to hear me talk? What can I do? And so this book is about rechanneling yourself, becoming relevant. I had absolutely 0 friends, nothing going on in my life, to starting a women's empowerment organization of over 600 women to help them regroup, be seen, be relevant, I talk about the physical, I talk about the mental, I talk about how to get yourself together. Because actually I had gained a lot of weight. We know what that is. That's pity weight. That's all that is. I learned to eat better, sleep better. You don't have to be thin to be attractive. It's not about that. It's about this. It's about being confident up here and being positive here. And so I talk about this. I talk about getting yourself together. I talk about how to start a business. I talk about how to start an organization, because I've heard some women say, I want to start my own women's empowerment organization. I talk about how to do that because I did it. I started with no people to 600. So this book is about getting yourself together regardless of what age. You can do a restart, and guess what? People will want you because I'm remarried now, okay? I found him, and guess what, ladies? I talk about how to find him. And it wasn't in a bar. It wasn't in a bar. So the secret to finding that person.
You gotta get a book.
You gotta get the book. The how-to is here. So I married my best friend. But I didn't know him before all this happened. So I talk about how to meet them, how to find them, how to grow that relationship. So this is Growing Ageless. A lot of good stuff in here. And get your copy. I'm Sabrina Protein. How to find him, it's in here.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh God. All right, well, I'm the odd man out here. My book is actually the cards that you all have. So I'm Carole Gill, and I have a consulting company, and I do leadership development, team building, executive coaching. And through my 25 years of having that business, I have met with a lot of very successful people who have something missing. And it ranges from everything you can possibly imagine, what that piece of information is missing for them, or that puzzle piece. And a very dear friend of mine, Diane Allen, who's also kind of in the same world that I am, and I sat down one day and said, you know, we meet with these senior level people and even just individual one-on-one people that I know and love, and they're still lost in their lives. Even though they've accomplished so many things, they're still looking for what's missing. And for me, the journey is all about living your life with intention, right? So if you choose the life you want, then you're going to create the life you want, which is what you folks are all talking about, right? And you know, thoughts become things. What we think about, we create or we manifest, and that's a universal principle. So we sat down and said, what if we come up with a set of questions that would help people ask better questions to actually create a better life? Because that's how simple it is, but yet we don't do it on a regular basis. Because we get lost in the shuffle, right? We're raising kids, we're doing our business, we're running here, we're running there, and we really don't ask the questions that matter most. We think about what do we have to do tomorrow, and what we have to do with the kids, and where we have to be, and what we owe to somebody. But what about what's my life look like? What about why do I exist? What about what brings me bliss? You know, when was the last time you asked yourself that question and really had an answer? And so we created these questions, and there are 77 of them in this box, and they're all different. The artwork was actually created intentionally, and every one of the cards has a different pattern on it, and that was done because Diane works with gifted people who can notice patterns and get stuck on patterns sometimes. So every card is unique and different, and if you use these cards on a daily basis to ask yourself these questions like, why am I here?
Well, can you just read yours first? Go ahead.
Sure.
And that way that'll be something that you...
Whoa.
Did you pick this for me? You three, but we got... That's what's
All right, so this question is, who can I forgive today? Now, the value of these questions is that no matter how
many times you pull this question, you can always have an answer, and it can be different.
That's true.
And so this is really an appropriate question for me today. So you really want me to go deep, Diane? Okay. So who can I forgive today? And actually, it's me. Okay. So I can forgive myself today for wondering what life would be like if. Okay, that was a question I had this morning as I was doing my own meditation. And I tried not to think that because it doesn't matter what would my life be like if, right? My life is what it is and I love it. And it's a combination of all the mistakes and the gifts and the frustrations and the pains and the wonderful things that have happened to me all my life. So to go down that path of saying, what would my life be if I had made a different choice or a different decision, it was like beating myself up. And so I did beat myself up this morning, and all day I have been kind of carrying that around. So thank you, because I would never have done that.
So I work with women, I coach women, but the cards is something I really encourage the women that I coach to purchase into and buy into. But if you're on Clubhouse, you're in a room with me, we discuss the card. If you're on a podcast with me, you don't get off my podcast, you answer. You pull a card and you answer it. That's how powerful these cards are. Yeah. I mean, they're very life-changing. If you meditate, if you journal, they're great, definitely great. They're good for your kids, you give them to your kids. I have a friend that she now pulls them every morning in the car ride, so with her kids. So thank you, Carole.
You can go ahead since you're still talking, and we'll drop down. So go ahead.
Okay. So my name is Carole Gill. I want to thank all of you guys for coming tonight. This is an event. My book I wrote last year about COVID. We didn't do the book launch. So it's called Against All the Odds, and it's about bravery and courage. And I'm part of 8 people that are in this book. But for me, my story was. My dad was in the service, did 2.5 tours in Vietnam. When he settled us down in Swansboro, North Carolina, I had a babysitter that would come and watch us. And unfortunately, the babysitter thought I was a good target to sexually abuse. While doing so, I had a younger sister and younger brother in the house, and I always tried to make sure they never came in the room. Fast forward, I moved to Florida with my parents, and I was raped by a boyfriend. And I didn't realize all that path of doing that. I thought, I'll never meet the person I'm supposed to have in my life. This is my path I'm supposed to do. How am I going to meet him? And I decided at 17 years old, I moved out of my parents' house. I decided to go on my own journey, figure out what that life was going to be like. And then my parents decided to move to California, so I went with them. I hated it there. It was 1 month away from moving back to Florida. And I went to a company picnic with my husband, who I met there, with a roommate. And I told my roommate I'm leaving. We met my now husband and his roommate there. They were with these 2 amazing, beautiful looking girls. We thought, oh, these good looking guys, these girls. Never thought, at the end of the night, we were the last 4 in the parking lot at Knott's Berry Farm. His car's about to get towed, and I'm going in my car, and my girlfriend says, you're going to marry him. And I laughed at her and said, he doesn't have my phone number. There's no way that can happen for me, because that's what life's been like for me. That was August 3rd. December we got engaged. Well, let me back up. October we moved in with each other. December we got engaged. I asked him to marry me. And for 34 years married now, I got my white picket fence and I never thought I deserved. So my story to pay it forward is to say, you never give up. I've written other books, but I want you to know, it doesn't matter what you're up against, you can beat the odds. As you've all heard here, and if you want to talk to somebody, if you know him in that situation, that's what I love to do, is empower others to do that. So thank you. Thank
you. So my name is Giselle McNabb. I'm the author of Find Beauty Within Darkness, Stop the Pattern. So to give a quick brief, it's a memoir of my troubled childhood, a mixture of abuse and drug addict mother, domestic violence, everything that, you know, kind of goes bad when you're brought up in a drug infested home. The reason for writing the book was, well, I actually been writing for about 10 years. But I never found like an end point to it. It was just like a story, and I would say, who would want to read my story? There's probably people that have gone through worse stuff. And then things started to open up. I started to receive more self-love. I started to know more about myself and love myself more, and that started to open up other doors. I graduated USF with a degree in business, and but I still had that very low self-esteem. Like I didn't like who I saw in the mirror. There was something missing in my life. I just didn't know what it was. And then I met my husband at a bar. I met my husband at a bar. Not that I'm always in bars, I just happened to be there that day. And then things just started to lighten. My life just felt complete. I felt like I had an identity, because for years I didn't know who I was. And he gave me an identity. I felt like a woman. I felt in charge. I felt like I can conquer the world. So I wrote this book with the hope that women that are in shelters or young girls in foster homes, that they can know that although life is like, you know, a shit show, there's light at the end of the tunnel. And if I can do it, you can do it. It's basically my motto. So that's what it is. Oh, I have to say something really quick. So the title, because I know you mentioned okay. So I struggled with this title for months, and Lisa would say, you know, we've got to come up with something, and I'm just like, nothing's clicking. So one day in the car with my daughter, she was asking me about my past, about stories, and I said, you know what, Angel, you're the beauty from all that darkness. And then I was like, that's it. So she was my inspiration for that as well.
Amazing. Woo. All right. Come on, girl.
Yeah, you all have some amazing stories.
So do you.
Thank you. My name is Lola B. Morgan, and I have 2 books. My first was written in 2019. It'll be 40 years on Saturday that I have a brother. His name is George Morgan, who passed away. And so I had just like a really hard time dealing with it. We grew up together. I remember spending summers with him, and you know, transitioning from Atlanta to here was just, it was a different journey, and having to find myself in a different element, in a different way, but still carrying some of that baggage, not having closure from his death. Emotionally, it was a lot. And so I just kept thinking in my mind, like, man, I'm naturally a giver. And I kept asking myself, I wish there was something that I could give. I don't know what else I could do. I remember leaving work. He passed away in June, and I went back to Chicago in August because I said, I don't know, something's just not, I felt emotional. Something's not sitting right. I feel like it's something that I need to give back to my family, although it's not much that you can do, you know, when someone passes away. And so in 2019, that's probably about 2 years afterwards, I was approached by a young lady who was starting her own publishing company, and I had written for years. And so by this time, I had never told my story. I'm just a girl who's done marketing, or you know, worked in property management, or I've done a lot of work for other people and have written for years. So when she approached me in 2019, she said, hey, are you ready to write your book? I see that you're a writer. And so I had to go through the process of really being able to dissect my own life. At that time, I went through seeing a therapist and digging through some of the emotional trauma that I went through. I went through emotional, physical, and sexual abuse as a child. So when writing this book, The Butterfly and the Bully, the forefront, it will always be an ode to our family. But I said, okay, how do you tell a softer story, you know, to a larger audience? And so this book, and I'm so thankful that I had the experience of being a writer. Writing was one way for me to be able to activate my voice. I suffered from really low self-esteem as a child, and having to just see those different stages of my life. I'm 33 now, I'll be 34 this year, and having to go through all of those experiences, and what's the word? Not unbagging, but yeah, I guess like grabbing, unloading.
It's peeling the onion, right?
Unleashing all of those experiences and honoring them all at the same time through the midst of the pandemic. I'm just like, oh God, this is a lot, but you know, we're gonna make it through. And the title for me, I actually endured bullying as a child, whether it was for like my features or my voice. Coming from Chicago to different states where we live, people would make fun of me because my voice was so, like my tone was just so proper. And so I wanted to add different components and a lot of the nurturing and therapeutic tactics that I was taught throughout my childhood to be able to give to other people. So this book is really an ode and a testament of my life. You'll find a lot of affirmations, journaling, ways for you to be able to look at yourself. I know I spoke to a few young ladies in here earlier, and I let them know that although I am an author, I never thought that I would be a children's book author, let alone an author, you know, within itself. And so although this category is written in a child's form, it's a story for every person. We all have an inner child that needs to be nurtured, and it teaches us ways in order to reflect, to be intentional. There's exercises in the back of this book that says, do nothing without intention. What is your affirmation? I am is very powerful for me because I feel like it allows you to conquer who you are. How are you going to show up in this world? Not allowing other people to dictate who you choose to be. And that's something I fell into in many paths, you know, as a young woman. You walk around and you allow people to guide you any type of way, and it's nice enough for you to be able to stand firm, to walk forth and say that this is who I choose to be. And so this book has many layers, but for a good component, it revealed the bond back into the home. So sitting down with a child, being able to say, okay, well, this is how you feel about it. Maybe, you know, this is how I feel about it, and allowing it to be a full experience. This book is everything, and I absolutely love it. In 2020, I wrote or curated this children's book. And so this is actually a depiction of my niece, Riley. And I wanted to make sure that people saw melanated characters authentically. And so this book is really cool, has different illustrations, and the inside of it, we have affirmations. All of my books will always have a tool for you to take away, meaning yes, you can dissect in a mental or verbal level, but I want you to go out and actually physically do the work. And then it has a certificate of completion for you to walk away with. So, yeah, that's great.
I don't know, but I feel like I have the best seat in the house. Like, everybody's just amazing. So I give honor to all of you because I'm very inspired by all of you. I was always wanting to be an inspirational speaker. I'm a preacher's kid, my dad's a pastor. So I just always wanted to be this motivational speaker, and I had the opportunity as a spokesmodel for Barbizon to travel as a speaker in high schools and middle schools and women's conferences, and I think that's kind of where my book was birthed. The book is called You Go Girl. My name's Georgie. Georgie Franks. And like Georgie Porgy, because I'm also in sales, so that's how you do the Georgie Porgy. But yes, this book, You Go Girl. So look at the woman next to you and say, You Go Girl. It's all about setting goals and achieving goals and the experiences that you can have in setting goals. And we all know about our SMART goals, you know, be specific, measurable, be attainable, realistic. But then I'm like, I don't know. I think you should go a little bigger and have a lot of fun, set vision boards. I was doing vision boards before there was vision boards because I just love to write my goals down in random places and just be inspired by it. So this book is all about different ways to achieve your goals, the do's and don'ts of goals, excuses we make on why we don't achieve our goals. So this is You Go Girl. And thank you. And this book I wrote was from just really talking to youth and trying to find a really cool way to get them to take responsibility and take care of their business. All right, so it's called MYOB, mind your own business. And in the book, it talks about the way we dress, your image is like your branding, and the way you carry yourself and getting used to kind of take responsibility. Hey, you have on skate shoes? People are gonna think you're a skater. It's not personal, right? So how do you portray yourself? And then parents and teachers being the investors into the business, that is you, right? And looking at your life like a CEO, and then grades are like the paycheck. So it's really all built on that analogy of a presentation that I share with you in assemblies and schools, life, and it's just a very inspirational book for you. So,
Thank you all for sharing. Man, you guys have some really good stories. But we know a little bit more about each other right now. Before you walked in this door. And I try to think of times where you have a woman that always, they assume to know you before you even open your mouth. And this is a way for us to really know who you were. Just by sharing just a simple thing of your story of why you got inspired to write your book. Now, I'm gonna do this. We still have, a good bit of time. But just to say thank you for our lovely Miss Jennifer and her husband, eternally faithful for how definitely, so all this stuff is being captured right now, so please keep in mind, she's going to walk around if she haven't already done so and drop her card, so that way you'll know how to purchase the photos that she's taken of you guys for her husband, as well as purchasing those. This was just a way, opportunity where you don't always see this. And, we have different events, but we don't get a chance to hear you, especially in a room full of people. You just miss those things. So this is the next thing that we're gonna do. I'm gonna say maybe 15 to 20 seconds. Look at the card that you have.
Get it now?
Look at the card that you have now. Did I give you a card? You're included in this. Look at the card that you have. And I'm just gonna start randomly pointing. I'm not gonna go in the order. I challenge you to just kind of be open, give 15 to 20 seconds about his thoughts.
I didn't get a card.
You want mine?
No, I don't want yours.
All right, so I'm going to start with Miss Tampa. Could you read your card out loud and give us like 15 to 20 seconds?
Oh my gosh.
Read out loud and answer that question.
I was waiting on my friend to get my camera ready.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so my question is, what can I do to be open-minded? So I am probably...
That is the deepest question for you right now.
It is the deepest question
I'm
for
good.
me. Because I'm probably one of the most optimistic. My husband cannot stand how positive I am sometimes. But what I can do to be open-minded is trust the plan that God has for me more and quit questioning it, because I tend to back up from opportunities because of fear sometimes, or wondering, am I good enough? And then I just need to be open-minded and remember that everything that I need is already on the inside of me.
Yes.
Oh, that's good.
All right. 30 seconds, Miss Pamela.
I get to be what I want to be.
Oh.
Yeah, I don't know how that happened, but
Yeah, I don't know. There you go. I'm gonna come back to you. I'll let you read that. Let's see, Miss Georgie.
Hi, I'm Georgie. What am I creating? I am creating an empire.
Yeah.
Oh!
You say go, you go, girl.
Thank you. Thank you. Yes, and I'm grateful for just such a foundation of people who have stretched me, like Miss Carole over here, and Pamela, and just also my business partner over here, Netta, who really is supporting me, and Denise, and I could go on about the women surrounding me that have helped me to believe I am creating an empire. So I'm just grateful.
Thank you. All right, let's Miss Linda.
You should have said that. What am I missing?
She's got a pretty great life, so that's what we.
It's really tough, but I can tell you, And I'm gonna try not to cry.
Oh,
Okay.
It's hard to do it.
You can.
I don't have God in my life as much as I need him.
You can fix that.
Always, yeah.
Yes.
He's listening every day.
So that's a big that you right now to say that, and I love that.
Thank you.
Every day, walk in progress. He's always. All right.
What are my opportunities? Wow, there are endless opportunities right now. I just see infinite realities. Whatever we want to create is our opportunity. And also, I believe everyone in this room is a great opportunity just to connect with, just to grow with, just to embrace and inspire and let them, enlighten us.
Thanks for asking. What habit has most improved my life? And just this morning, I was going to share this habit with someone on my team. The habit that has most improved my life is the habit of reading the Bible. And I did it. Someone told me, if you read the Bible, it will change your life. And that was about 7 years ago, and 100% it has. And it is a habit. It is a habit. When I moved here from Seattle years ago, I went to Working Women Conference. And the gal said, look, write down the top 3 things that are the most important to you. Now, tell me what you're doing monthly, quarterly, daily, weekly, that supports those things that you say are important. And if they truly are important, you're going to have those habits. And I didn't, but I do now. And that's what I am in the Word. I listen to podcasts of the Word. I am in
Want to do it?
And it's to me, and it's changed my life.
Amen.
Mine says, am I using my time wisely? And so, to answer authentically, I'm going to go with a part of what you said literally about 2 days ago. So I used to work in property management, and almost 2 months ago I decided to exit, and that I needed to step out in my gifts full time. And so with doing that, it's like a whole mindset shift. You have to set your intentions. You have to match your efforts with what it is that you want. And so I asked myself yesterday while I was on a call, it's like Spirit was just talking to me and said, what do you want? And I haven't asked myself that in a while. So to answer this question without making it lengthy, because you did say 15, 30 seconds. Yes and no. Yes, because I am conscious of it, of what I need to do, and I'm gonna say no, a part of it, because I know what I need to do. So, yeah. There we go.
Awesome.
Okay.
Me? All right, so mine is, what is my genius? So, at first I was struggling with this, but I think my genius is empathy. I empathize with people. So, give me a little bit more than 30 seconds, and I'm going to tell you why. When I was a young girl, I was in the Catholic Church, and those were small good parts of my life. When I felt comfortable in church, I felt like I belonged there. And then when I was ripped out of it, I lost that trust, I lost that bond, but it was always there, right? And I always had this need, and I'm going to refer back to you, I have to, and I'm going to tell you why. I had this need to look for God, right? But I didn't know how. And just recently, I was baptized into the Christian church. I met a couple, well, my husband met someone, and I was introduced to the wife. And that was the most inspiring moment of my life. 2 weeks ago, I was baptized into the Christian church, and when you're baptized into the Christian church, they say you become a person of God, right? You believe in that He exists. You have the Holy Spirit in you. You accept it. And although I have a degree and my finances are good and I have a great home and I have a husband, to sit here now and tell you that no matter what you have, nothing is going to be greater than that relationship that you have with God. Because I wake up now every day and I face things differently. Before I felt like I needed to fight everything or I needed to defend myself to everybody. And now, and it's that faith that I have that now I can say, there's a bigger power. I'm not fighting this. And the light is just amazing. It's just something that it's hard for me to talk to, but I feel because I was baptized and because I believe in the Holy Spirit and I believe that God is so powerful, search for Him. Because
I've been baptized and I believe, I just don't have that relationship.
Well, my pastor is standing right over there. So my genius is empathy, and that goes with finding that.
Thank you so much.
So can I close us out with the last one?
We still have, how many more did I, because I didn't.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's
okay. That's my fault.
She said, okay, what you
Sabrina. Do you want me to read
Yeah,
mine?
we got a few. I'm going to get
Okay.
15 seconds.
Mine says, am I implementing my plan? Initially when I read that, I thought financial, but my real plan is to keep my family together. I have adult kids. I want them to always know each other. I want them to call. I want them to call me. And so I keep the families tight because I've heard parents, I hadn't heard from my son in a year, 2 years, or it's only on holiday. And so my plan is for us to stay united as a family. Even if you're an adult, call mama, check on your sister, call your brother.
Awesome. That's a great plan.
And
It says, am I receptive to new ideas?
To what?
To new ideas.
I mean, you do.
Yeah, I did that the other day. This morning, somebody told me that I needed to do more lives. At least do my first live.
Awesome.
And they've been telling me that for like forever. And I said, you know what? I get on there and ain't nobody on there, ain't nobody on there, ain't nobody on there, and I feel like I'm talking to myself. And it's just, it looks crazy when you're on there, ain't nobody on there. So this morning, I was so excited this morning about this event. I was like, that's it. I'm just gonna get on here and just be me, okay? And I had like so many people watching. It was like whatever. So I am receptive to being online more and getting myself out there. People love my inspirational thoughts and stuff like that. So I'm like, okay, let me get on there. And earlier, Jaquela was telling me, she's like, because I told her, I said, I wish I had one of them big posters. Everybody got one. She's like, girl, get on there, sell a course. Okay? Get that money. I'm like, well, who gonna buy that? See, you can't have that.
Self-doubt.
Can't have that doubt. You can't have that doubt. You just gotta do it. You gotta do it. So now I got like real.
Well, you go, girl. I'm gonna be holding you accountable for that.
Yeah.
Because they hold me accountable for that.
I know.
And we have one more person, and then we are going to. Oh,
I got Maria too.
Oh, and she's trying to hack. Okay, 30 seconds. I'm setting the clock right now.
Oh, for me?
Mm-hmm.
What do I appreciate about me? I appreciate my walking in my purpose and being obedient to my assignments.
All right. Keep 30 seconds.
Hashtag GISCC. God is so crazy cool.
All right. And lastly,
We have Maria.
How can I find peace today? In my breath. And that's where it all is, because there's no life without it. So I reflect on my breath, and I work with it, and I work with it every day. And that is how I find my own tranquility. When I go inside through my lungs, and which is the source of my entire life and the life of those around me. So it is with my breath that I can find my peace.
and I'll do Miss Marie.
What is my heart's desire? And truly it is to have everyone meet the Creator. And I believe in health, freedom for humanity. And I just want everyone to restore themselves back to the original design.
Thank you all. Thank you all. Thank you all. I'm just saying thank you. And last but not least.
Okay, so in order to answer this question, I have to call some names up front.
Okay.
So Carol, can you stand up? Georgie, can you stand up? Jacqueline, can you come here up front, please? I haven't answered my question. Denise, can you come in front, please? Just stand right in front of everybody, please.
You know I don't want to be in front.
Please do. Stand together.
Okay.
So my card says, what makes my heart sing? 5 years ago, I had a vision that I wanted to bring a retreat to women, to empower women to overcome things in their lives that they need to overcome. I started out doing the retreat just myself for 4 days, no help. And I had a really good friend in Texas that attended my retreat and said, you need to have women surrounding you to help you do this. And that's when I started on ambassadorship. And I have these amazing women here are my ambassadors. And they are helping me get the message out. And this year, we are going to the mountains in Tennessee. And normally we've had 15. We're doubling the size because of these women. They came last year, saw the message and saw the need. So if you know any women that are looking for something to release in their lives, as you know this year, and need to get rid of the old baggage and want to be inspired and ignite something inside, you need to come to my table and grab a flyer. But what makes my heart sing is that all these women, Denise is my room ambassador, Carole came and she became my partner in this retreat. She co-brands with me and she helps me get this message out. Georgie, every one of you sitting on this panel, you need to come talk to her because she's my speaker. So she helps me find speakers, and some of you that are sitting on this panel need to be in front of some of the women that we have. And last but not least, Jacqueline here is my event ambassador. She's going to keep us on track every step of the way. So I'm get that whip out. So the really cool thing is, you know you're doing something good when you're on Clubhouse. You've never met anybody, and women are going, bring this out to the West Coast. We want to support you, and I bring a team with me. So that's what makes my heart sing. And last but not least, Andrea, can you come here, please?
Aww.
So Andrea, she attended last year, and she donated all kinds of great things. And tonight she donated the desserts that you guys all had. You guys ate really good desserts, so you need to go back and visit her. But she works with children that are on the autism spectrum. So if you know anybody that is on that spectrum, please make sure you talk with Andrea. She's so powerful with the kids, and she does things like walks with them. I've known people therapists in that world. I've never heard of them going out and walking in a park with the kids. And those children need somebody like her. So please go visit her. But that's what makes my heart sing.
Thank you. Like her on Facebook. What is your website?
Gulf Coast ABA and Autism Services LLC.
Yeah. So that's what makes my heart sing. So I'm going to hand it back to you.
Yep. And so this concludes this little book panel. I'll collect the cards if I haven't already got so.